Maayong gabi sa matag usa. Salamat sa lain na pud nga opportunity nga kita makatuon, maka-inampuanay sa matag usa and makatuon sa pulong sa Ginoo. And this time I would like to invite everyone to please open your Bible in the book of Psalm chapter 5 verse 3. Let's study only one verse karon gabi may igsoon. Psalm chapter 5 verse 3. Kung nana sa inyong mga Biblia, akong basahon, sundan lang sa inyong mga mata. Psalm chapter 5 verse 3, O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning I prepare a sacrifice for you and watch. Ang Ginoo magapanalangin siya nga pulong magapray kita. Ginoo, salamat karon nga gabi, salamat Ginoo sa imong padayon nga pagpanalangin sa mga. Ug salamat Ginoo sa imong grasya sa among kinabuhi nga kadunay Ginoo nagasabot sa amo ang pagkamakasasala, and ikaw Ginoo always naga-accept sa mo Ginoo, bisan kami Ginoo adunay makalapasan sa mo, pero ikaw nakasabot ug ikaw Ginoo nag-acceptar sa among mga kalapasan sa mo. Salamat Ginoo sa pagpakamatay ni Jesucristo dito sa cross sa Kalbaryo aron pagluwas, aron pagtabon Ginoo sa among masala. Salamat sa grasa sa kaluwasan Ginoo nga kini wala na mo bayari, wala na mo kini ginuhagoy kundi libre o imo kining gihatag sa mga freely Ginoo. Salamat sa imong nga pagpadayon nga pagpanalangin sa amo karon nga semana kana among pagampo ginato Ginoo tanan sa kasong luwas. Amen. Psalm chapter 5 verse 3, and the author of this psalm is, we know that it is King David. It is King David according to some scholars, and even the author, according to the verse, the author at the time of its composition was beset by enemies. So dagkay nagatuo mga igsoon, even mga authors, mga commentators sa mga libro nga ang tao ang nagsulat ni David. He was in the midst of peril from the designs of violent men. So kung imong tan-awon diri mo ang pag-ingon sa Psalm chapter 5 verse 1, niingon si David, give ear to my words, O Lord, consider my groaning. Consider my groaning. And kung imong tan-awon diri siya, there are words nga naga-describe sa iyang gibati din nga panahon. Mo pag-abot diri sa verse 3, ingon siya, O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. David was showing his true feelings to God, and he expressed his sentiments to God. One of the very personal and very true, ingon pa sa usa sa mga scholar, is Psalm chapter 5. Psalm chapter 5 was one of David's true feelings diya sa Ginoo ginapakita niya, ug niya nga ginasulti da sa Ginoo. Muna ko imong tanawon diri, this psalm is carrying a message on how a person being true in his feelings to God. This psalm is carrying a message on how a person being true in his feelings to God. Ang pagiging tinuod mga igsoon diha sa Ginoo. And I like one preacher says, walay sense nga murag maging hipokrito ta o batubangan sa Ginoo. It's because He sees and He knows our very heart. Pwede pa na maging hipokrito ko sa imong sikatao, sa imong kauban, pero kung maging hipokrito ka sa Ginoo, lisod ug di nimo matago igsoon kung unsa ang imong tinuod nga pagbati. Munang we are encouraged every day that we have to pray without ceasing. Ngano man, there's no point nga motago ka sa Ginoo, because He is omnipresence and He is omniscience, all-knowing. And this psalm is carrying a message on how a person being true in his feelings to God. Being true in his feelings to God. And verse 3 mga igsoon, we will going to learn about true in your commitment in prayer. Maging tunuod ka sa imong commitment sa paghampo. Ang pagtudlo sa pagampo naa, ang paghagit sa pagampo naa, ang pattern sa pag-uampo gitudlo sa ato. Ang challenge sa pagampo naa, ang kulang igsoon ang imong commitment. Ang akong commitment, ang imong commitment, ang atong commitment. So in verse 3, it gives us a proof of a person that is committed in prayer. Mga proof sa usa ka tawo nga committed sa pagampo. And sometimes we as a Christian are full sa mga sa pagtudlo sa pagampuon sa mga pattern mo nang sa una gani ba sa panahon sa Bible school pa ko na mga pattern sa pagampo para di ka mulisod na ginatawag nila nga acts, adoration, confession, thanksgiving, supplication. Napud sila gitawag nga finger. Kung mo tanawon kinsay nanay mga significance kada finger kani nanay mga significance nga dapat nimo ampo. Pero ang question may igsoon, kumusta imong commitment sa pagampo? Kumusta ang imong nga dedication diha sa pagampo? Maybe we are full sa pagtudlo. We are full knowledge sa ato ang hibal-an about sa pagampo. But how about your commitment? Sa pagampo? That's why there are two proof nga ato nga pag-isgutan karon nga gabi sa usa ka tawo nga committed sa pagampo. First, dito kita magadugay. First, it creates a prayer that is committed in prayer. It creates a habitual practice, or it creates habitual practice. Yung mga tanaw ng verse, O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning you hear my voice. According to some scholars and according to the commentary nga akong nabasahan, ang morning is a literal morning. Let's go to the other source, other nga mga Bible text about morning. Psalm 148 verse 8. Psalm 143 verse 8. If you have your Bible with you, yung ang pulong sa Ginoo, cause me to hear thy loving kindness in the morning. For in thee do I trust. Cause me to know the way wherein I should walk, for I lift up my soul unto thee. Take note, cause me to hear thy loving kindness in the morning. Pag-abot sa Psalm 88 verse 3, niingon ng psalmist, but unto thee have I cried, O Lord, and in the morning, take note, and in the morning shall my prayer prevent thee. Psalm 59 verse 16, unsay sa pulong sa Ginoo, but I will sing of thy power, yea, I will sing aloud of thy mercy in the morning. Take note, I will sing aloud of thy mercy in the morning, for thou hast been my defense and refuge in the day of my trouble. A very common verse, Lamentations 3:22-24. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new, what? Every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, saith my soul. Therefore will I hope in him. Ug sa atong teksto mga igsoon sa verse 3, O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. What I want to you to understand mga igsoon, there is a habitual practice of prayer. There is a habitual practice of prayer. I don't know if there is a deeper meaning ani morning diri. But sa akong simple nga pagsabot na igsoon, it is a habitual practice. Sa akong simple nga pagsabot, it is a habitual, it creates a habitual practice. The psalmist felt doubtless that while it was a general duty and privilege to call upon God with the return of each morning, there was a special reason for it in the circumstances in which he then was. That is why I ask the young people, what is the best time? What is the best time to do prayer? unsa ang pinaka best nga panahon para maampo para sa inyo? Ako for me, one of the best time of prayer is midnight. Kaya tungod kay wala siya'y sambok, walay sasa, walay makadisturbo sa imo. But many will say that the best time of prayer is morning. The psalmist is not telling us to do prayer in the morning, but he is trying to tell us that you have to do praying regularly. You have to pray regularly. Mo siya, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning you hear my voice. Who knows what a day may bring forth? Who knows? Who knows what temptations may await you or may await him or may await sa atua? Who can protect himself from the dangers may encompass you? Who can enable us to discharge the duties which are incumbent on us every day? Of course, it is only God, the answer. That is why, my son, if you are truly committed in prayer, you have to create a habitual practice. Dili good okay nang mingon ka karon, ay nakalimot ko, sige ugma na lang. If you are truly committed sa pagampo, you have to do it regularly. Kung ugaling musipyat man ka sa kaadlaw, mabot gyud sa punto nga usay murag di gyud kumpleto imong adlaw. Na mga panahon nga makalimot yes, because we are in a human situation. We are in a human body. Muna yung pa nila sa mga katigulangan ng kalimot walay gahom. Pero kung committed ka diha sa pagampo, you have to create a habitual practice. Even Psalm chapter 3 verse 5, ayun sa pulong sa Ginoo kung basahon. Psalm chapter 3 verse 5, nagaingon ang pulong sa Ginoo, "But thou, O Lord, art a shield of me." Verse 5, "I laid me down and slept, I awake, for the Lord sustained me." So it is possible that the prayer time of David is every morning. The prayer time of David is every morning. What I want you to understand, my son, is that regardless of what time you want to pray for God, do it habitually. Again, pinamduman kita noon na 5:17, alas 5 sa buntag, laon na sa hapon, alas 7 sa gabi. Pero na yung mga panahon, usay, masipya to, kasi alas 6 na sa buntag. But what is actually the message is to have to do it regularly. You have to do it from time to time. One of my tradition na para sa ako, usa sa akong ginabuhat yun kanang gabiyahe ko. Example, kanang labi naglayo, example, muli ko agusan, or muadto kong Negros, or muadto kong Davao del Sur, before kumuhawa diri sa simbahan gampod. That is my ginabuhat ko na ako ng habit. Ginabuhat na ako na sa habit. So you have to create a habitual practice, so if you are truly committed sa pagampo. Many of us are good in starting but not in finishing. Bitaw no, dapat maging committed ko, dapat mag-create ko habitual nga practice. Buhaton nimo na dahito, mabuhat mo na isa ra ka bulan, after na wala na. I don't think you are committed sa pagampo. If you are truly committed sa pagampo, you have to pray. And regardless of what time you are, what time you want to pray, you have to do it regularly. But if you will go to this text, one, maybe the prayer time of David, it is morning. And can you remember the verse, when I look up the stars, when I look up the heavens, the stars, the moon, the stars. And according to sa usa ka scholar, that ang panahon si David, ang gabi mo ng panahon si David mo meditate sa panahon sa buntag iyang nga tigampo. According to some scholars, we don't know what exactly on sa time, but what really the message is to do it regularly. That's why it creates habitual practice. Secondly, di kita magadugay, not only it create habitual practice, secondly, If you are committed truly in prayer, it generates holistic practice. It generates holistic practice. Maningon sa verse 3, O Lord, in the morning will I direct my prayer unto thee, and will look up. Sa other translation, sa ESV version, I prepare a sacrifice for you and watch. I prepare is sacrifice. Sacrifice. Ang minda, sacrifice. Kung maingon tag sacrifice igsoon, it is one the best of the best. It generates a holistic practice. It would be a kind of morning sacrifice, and it would be arranged and performed with a suitable regard to the nature and service. The fact that it was rendered to the great God. The fact that it was rendered to the great God. I was asked by someone, Pastor, okay ra bang mag-pray anang Lord's Prayer kana sa Matthew? Kalimut ko. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. On earth as it is from heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Thy daily bread. Ug kung imong tan-awon igsoon, habitual na ginasulti sa tuwa sa una. Elementary pa kung muuna, kada adlaw na muna gina-recite. Ang pangutana sa karon nga panahon, is it okay? Nga mo recite na. For me, is it okay? Because it is biblical. Wala problema because it is biblical. But if we are doing it intellectually, not heartily, then that is the problem. Sa akong pangingon, wala problema mo ampo ni ana. Kung mo ampo ka karon ni ana in heartily manner, then it is not a problem. But to do it pretentiously, but to do it intellectually, memorize lang, katulad ka wala kailaing ampo, kana na lang, Our Father, which art in heaven, then that is the problem. That's why, if you are truly committed sa pagampo, you have to generate a holy, meaning, dili whole nga tibok, pero holistic pattern or holistic practice. Prayer should not be rushed. There would be a serious and solemn attention to the duties involved in the act as the worship of a holy God. Binalaan nga paagi. I remember when I was in intern time na ako, nagpaampo ko sa ka young people. Tungod kay wow kabalo kay first time din niya nga moampo. Tungod siya sa una pag moampo na, dili siya moampo kay tungod kay di siya kabalo. Ang iyang starting nga word siya kung ginampo sa kang moampo, si Brad siya kani. Siya ingon, Lord, good morning. Nangayog katahuran. Nangayog greetings signo ba? Ang pangutana heartily ba to? Tinudan na ba to? O sang ipangutana. Sa man to tinudan na ito dili. Tinudan na ito, pastor. It's just that dili lang ko sanay nga mo. Is it accepted to God? Of course. That's why if you are going to pray, you have to generate a holistic pattern. I prepare a sacrifice for you, and watch. Ang watch ng napasabot dere, it means to look about, to view from a distance. Kung imong tanawon sa simple nga pagsabot na igsoon, ni sakripisyo ko, ni ampo ko, ni tan-aw ko da sa imo, knowing sa kalapad sa mga pagtubag sa akong mga pagampo. Ang kalapad. That's why prayer should not be rushed. Prayer should not be performed negligently or with a light spirit. The light spirit. Ang sabot pasabot, ayaw mo, ang gusto ipaabot sa salmis badat ang atong pagampo dapat inubanan sa atong bugat o tinibuok nga presensya niya siya. That is the holistic practice. So, if you are truly committed sa pagampo. And to tell you honestly, kung niampo ka sa Ginoo without your heart, and if nagampo ka sa Ginoo with a light spirit, walay pagsalig diya sa iya, then I do believe that prayer will not be accepted to God. That prayer will not be accepted to God. That's why kung mo tanaw ka sa verse 1, balik ka sa verse sa chapter 5, give ear to my words, O Lord. Give ear to my words. So kung unsay gusto, unsay dapat, unsay ginapaabot sa tuwa diri, that it is God who decides to hear you or not. Yes, He can hear it because He is a God, but it is God who decide. Yung pagitanawon ang following words of verse 1, consider. The word consider. The question is, are your prayer is worthy of the consideration of God? Are your prayer are worthy of His consideration? Meditate on that. Meditate on that. Are those words are worthy of His attention? So if you are truly committed sa pagampo, you have to create a habitual practice sa pagampo. Ikadua, you have to generate a holistic practice sa pagampo. Tinud-anay. Pati pastor, balik-balik na lang. Like for example, ang pinakabalik-balik yun nato nga ginampo sa kadadlaw, pagkaon, Lord, salamat sa pagkaon. Mamang yun na. Balik-balik yun na. Ang pangutana dia, if you are praying it without hearing it directly from your mouth only and your intellect only, then that is the problem. Ayun sa pulong sa Ginoo, you have to prepare a sacrifice. Sa sakripisyo sa imong mga kasing-kasing na tinud-anay gyud na imo. Tinud-anay gyud na imo. Hopefully may igsoon that we are going to be committed in our prayer. If you don't have a commitment in prayer, your ground will be easily broken and your communion with God will not be consistent. Your communication with God will not be consistent. And I encourage everyone to be committed sa pagampo. Especially especially karon mga panahon. Daghan tay makaigsunan nga sakit, daghan tay makaigsunan nga naa sa struggling part silang kinabuhi. Nata karon sa naay makaigsunan nga nag-struggle personally, wala lang takabalo. Na yung mga kaigsunan nga in their inner heart problema undergo grabe nga stress. That's why this is the time that we have to be committed in prayer. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, but today is the time to be committed in prayer. Duha lang kabutang maigsoon. If you are truly committed sa pagampo, it creates a habitual practice. Secondly, it generates a holistic pattern. It generates a holistic pattern. And salamat sa inyong panahon. Salamat sa inyong pagpaminaw. And ang Ginoo bless atong matagusa, and let's have to continue to pray each other because we don't know unsa ang gina-undergo sa matagusa sa ato. Okay, God bless everyone and see you next Wednesday.